Hello, BookTube. Cheers. We got a nice Vermont beer here. Long Trail Hibernator. Wet. Maybe a little above freezing, so 35 Fahrenheit most of the day. So all the old snow has got a fog coming off of it. So I went out. Let me put this up. Oh, that's good. Real good. I went out. My daughter wanted to go out. She'd been either at track or at school constantly, and she just needed a day out. So me and my wife and my daughter went up to the charity shop, Listen, in West Lebanon, New Hampshire, which I was game for. I haven't been there in a while. So we walk inside, and you guys know I get plenty of books there. And the books are $1 unless they're specially marked, and they don't do too much of that. So some places do way too much of that, but they don't seem to overdo it. And I go for the $1 books, but I go to the room where the books normally are, and it's empty. And I'm like, oh no. Wow, this hurts. And then I look, the next two rooms, they've built in really nice shelves and really organized well. And there was a lot of people there. So I thought, well, it's going to be picked over from Christmas. I got 18 books, and I spent $18. And I got some real treasures. So I thought I'd share them with you. This will be my last haul, for sure, for 2024. And it's going out the way it should, with a really, really good book haul. So some titles I'm very excited about, and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to take them out of the box randomly. I have not looked at them since I just took this out of the trunk of the car, and we're just going to go through them. So I'm going to start off here. Okay, this is Jan Morris, 50 Years of Europe, an album. I'm a huge Jan Morris fan. A Writer's House in Wales. Well, they should list them here. They don't have that one. Oh, because this is just a partial list. What's this? Autographed by the author, the Globe Corner Bookstores, Books and Maps for Travelers, Harvard Square. We have a signed copy. So this is was published in 1997, U.S. first. Jan Morris has since died. Like I say, a Writer's House in Wales. If you haven't read that, it's part of the National Geographic. It has a writer's series. So this has Holy Symptoms, The Mishmash, Nations, States, and Bloody Powers, the Internet, Spasms of Unity. I wonder if there's any sort of give you an idea how it's laid out. So happy to find a signed copy. Very happy about that. Where on earth am I going to put these? I'm going to have to put them on the floor in piles. Okay, and then a more New England-y thing and an American thing is the Essential Holmes. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., edited with an introduction by Richard Posner. Selections of letters, speeches, judicial opinions, and other writings. I'm getting a bit of a glare here, huh? So this is trade paperback. Chicago and London, University of Chicago Press. And this is one I'll dip in and out of. Will not read everything in it. At least not immediately. 1992. So happy to find that. And this was, I was thrilled to find, because I was talking to Sean D. Standfast last night about books and some things we were looking at and researching and trying to find. And he mentioned Thoreau, and I have a pretty decent selection of Thoreau. But this one's not one I knew about. This is Expect Great Things, The Life and Search of Henry David Thoreau by Kevin Dan. Quite an attractive thing. It's got some, blurbs on the back. And this is, it was made to coincide with the bicentennial of Thoreau's birth. It's a thrilling, meticulous biography, by naturalist and historian Kevin Dan. This is Tarcher Perigee, Perigee book. Sort of hard to read. And this is 2017. Anything about Thoreau I'm going to be interested in. And a wonderful shape. All right, when I get to the bottom of the books, I'm going to be doing more leaning. I hope I don't fall in. This is a Cambridge Companion to Shakespearean Comedy, edited by Alexander Legat. Boy, I'm really getting, I wonder why I'm getting so much glare. I don't really want to turn off the light. I mean, I will if I have to. And this is one of those Cambridge Companions to Literature. You can see how many, they've got tons of these things, and they're usually really good. I've got the one for science fiction, American science fiction. And this came out in 2002. So it'll have Shakespeare in the comic tradition, Shakespearean comedy, and then under each of them they'll have multiple articles. And in really, really, really good shape. This one here, I'm a huge fan of Samuel Eliot Morison. I know Steve Donahue with the channel of the same name also is. This is one I haven't read. I'm sure Steve has, but this is 3 Centuries of Harvard. Morison was, of course, intimately connected with Harvard, but this is one of his I've been meaning to read, so I was glad to find it. I've never seen this edition before. This is really cool. This is one of those books that's based on a PBS show. This is Recreating the World's Greatest Journey of Survival, Chasing Shackleton by Tim Jarvis with a foreword by Alexandra Shackleton. Really pretty thing, good size. End papers, which are really neat. I'm really excited about this one too. William Morrow. And this came out in 2013. So I know National Geographic recently put out a book about diving on the Endurance. Let me see here. Listen. Just loaded with photographs, this thing is. So I'm looking forward to this. I also need to get that National Geographic book, I think. Then here, really pretty thing. This is related to our friends over in England. This is The Living Mountain by Nan Shepherd, the finest book ever written on nature and landscape in Britain, according to The Guardian. So is it Britain, or is it just England, or is it Scotland? Oh, it's Scotland. My apologies. In this masterpiece of nature writing, Nan Shepherd describes her journeys into the Cairngorm Mountains of Scotland. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. There she encounters a world that can be breathtakingly beautiful at times and shockingly harsh at others. Her intense poetic prose explores and records the rocks, rivers, creatures, and hidden aspects of this remarkable landscape. So, let's see. Shepherd spent a lifetime in search of the essential nature of the Cairngorms. Her quest led her to write this classic meditation on the magnificence of mountains, on our imaginative relationship with the wild world around us. It was composed during the Second World War. And the manuscript lay untouched for over 30 years before it was finally published. What a fascinating story. Okay, well, if any of you know about this book, please, leave comments. Let me know. It sounds intriguing. And then sticking with the nature theme, this is the letters of Rachel Carson and Dorothy Freeman, an intimate portrait of a remarkable friendship, edited by Martha Freeman. This is Always Rachel. Big old thing. Got a bit of a crease here, but I could either fix it or just leave it. I'll probably just leave it. This is Beacon Press out of Boston. It's got the deckled edges. You can probably tell that. Rachel Carson, whose brave and lyrical Silent Spring set in motion the modern environmental movement, was an extremely private public figure. So these are going to be letters with some annotating, which is always helpful, or can be helpful. It's not always helpful. So glad to find this. I read Rachel Carson as a very young person. She had a huge influence on me. Okay. And this one, happy to find this. Am I saying that about every one of these? I probably am. Happy to find this once again. Once again, I am happy to find this. Journey to Portugal, in pursuit of Portugal's history and culture by Jose Saramago, who was the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. I've read quite a few of Saramago's works, and this is translated from the Portuguese with notes by Amanda Hopkinson and Nick Castor, Harcourt publication, and this was from 1990. My wife is of Portuguese descent, so my children also are of Portuguese descent. I am not, but I'm fascinated by the food and culture, and yeah, happy to have it. Yeah, we're making progress. We're not making a dent. Here's a little archaeology to keep Chandi Standfast happy. This is The Lords of Saipan, A True History of Pre-Inca Tombs, Archaeology and Crime by Sidney D. Kirkpatrick. So, always up for some archaeology. That was my undergraduate degree, and Sean, of course, worked as an archaeologist to a much greater degree than I ever did. So, happy to find this. I've never read it, never seen it, that I remember anyway. And let's see, let's stick with the theme. I almost didn't grab this. It was Sun-Faded Spine, and I didn't realize what it was, and then I turned it over and looked through it and decided I really wanted it. This is Volume 1 of the Encyclopedia of Archaeology, The Great Archaeologist, edited by Tim Murray. See, it's it's been faded, sitting somewhere in there, a window or something. But when I started looking through it, this is 1999, it came out. The advisory board's pretty impressive. Colin Renfrew, Casey Chang, Bruce Trigger, who Sean and I have talked about many times because Bruce Trigger wrote a great book on the theories of archaeology, history of theoretical archaeology. So this thing is just loaded. And this will have some of the very earliest, so... but some of the ones that really Winckelmann stands out from, let's see here, Heinrich Schliemann in Troy, Augustus Pitt Rivers. In fact, Sean and I were talking about Pitt Rivers Museum the other day. Let's see, Sir Arthur Evans from Crete, Sir William Mathers Flinders Petrie, who was big in Egyptology and the Holy Land. The letters, Sylvanius Griswold Morley, who I believe was with the Mayans, if I remember right. Alfred Kidder, who was with the American Southwest. Sir Mortimer Wheeler, V. Gordon Child, who did a lot, and that's by Bruce Trigger, who did a lot in the Holy Land and elsewhere. That's going to go on. So it says Volume 1, then it has a list on Volume 2. So I guess I'll have to figure out how this is structured. So this is just Volume 1. So maybe I'll look for Volume 2 to get the rest of the names. So a nice archaeology find, another one. So that's 2 of them. And then here's the third one. Another big name, Barry Cunliffe, Europe Between the Oceans. Big old giant thing. Yale University Press. You can't go wrong with Barry Cunliffe. So it's themes and variations 9000 BC to AD 1000. And this thing came out in 2008. Give you an idea what it's like inside the book. I'm just thrilled to have this. My kind of stuff. Yeah, to drag this box over here. Yeah, let's grab these. We'll get a couple science fiction I hope you could hear me. We'll get a couple science fiction volumes out of the way. So, first, and these are, I'm positive, are book club. Let me check. Yeah. So, Hellstrom's Hive by Frank Herbert, the author of Dune, science fiction book club edition. In the summer of 1971, Dr. Nils Hellstrom appeared in his own film production, The Hellstrom Chronicle. The motion picture was a frightening documentary detailing how insects could someday rule the world. So we're gonna have some fun with this. So happy to add it to the science fiction collection. Not a Herbert I've read, or that I remember reading anyway. And the other one here, The Latest and the Greatest, the new Hugo Winners, Volume 3, presented by Connie Willis. Like the cover. Don't like the glare. So let's see what we got. At the 47th convention in Boston. So you have Mike Resnick, George Alec Effinger, Connie Willis herself, and then the 48th convention, which was in The Hague in Holland. Susie McKee Charnas, Robert Silverberg, and Lois McMaster Bajol. And then the 49th convention, which was in Chicago, we have Terry Bisson, Mike Resnick, and Joe Haldeman. And I'll hold that up there for you guys to... You can just hit pause if you want to read through what the stories are. Always happy to have something like this. These anthologies, the old anthologies, can be a real treasure. Then I got a couple here that go together. It might bore some of you to death, but I was excited to find it. Volume 1, Literary Criticism, is Alan H. Gilbert, Plato to Dryden. Big old paperback thing. I love these sorts of things. I looked through it, not a lot of underlining. It's from 1940. So Plato, Aristotle, Horace, Dante, just the list goes on and on. Tasso, Dryden. And then Pope to Croce. And complete documents and selections from 39 critics, some in translations made especially for this volume. Voltaire's essay in epic poetry. Let's see here. This one is unmarked too. So these are both in really good shape. So glad to have them. They'll go out with their cohorts in the other room. Getting close here. This one is the Riverside Chaucer, the new edition. Anthony Burgess says this is the best edition of Chaucer in existence. It is paper. It's got a little plasticky thing going on here, but that's easy to fix. It's in good shape. Oxford. I have multiple copies of Chaucer, but I didn't have the Riverside. I like the big hardback eventually. I haven't run into it in a while. See, it's got all the notes. So happy to have this, and sorry about the glare again. I don't think that's happened in this room. And then the final book. Can you believe? Well, it's almost a little more than a minute each book. So, Tennessee Williams, Mad Pilgrimage of the Flesh. Biography by John Lahr, or Lahr, not sure. So a nice biography of the playwright. So does it say anything in... Yeah, A Streetcar Named Desire, obviously. Glass Menagerie, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. But, well, we'll have to see. This is not a biography. I know who Tennessee Williams is, and have seen all the plays I just mentioned, but I'd never seen this book before. So I grabbed this at the last minute and was very happy. So I am not doing a Steve Donahue pyramid with these books. In fact, I got to put them all in the box and try to figure out where I'm going to put them in the house. Science fiction will stay out here. So great book haul to end the year. The best, one of the best of the year. Maybe not the best, but pretty close. So very happy to find all this stuff. I hope you're all doing well, and thank you, BookTube.